with Showmaker, seeing him on stream. This is not a name that was given to him. This is a name that fits him to a T. Showmaker loves to make a show. If he starts it here, I'd love it, because he's got to back up what Nogari was doing in the Kesper Cup and in the first series, because his Vladimir and just his ability to pick up the carries means that Showmaker's job has been a little bit easy. He's been a little bit under the radar, and I don't know that he's going to stick with that for much longer.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe he wants to make a statement up against his idol, and in that sense might bring out something insane. Nice keyboard there, actually, for score. Looks pretty cool. We are not going to see the Aatrox. Got shut down big time by Khan yesterday up in the top side, but Damwon, or rather KT, doesn't want to play against that.
And Damwon Gaming aren't interested in this boring, uninteractive tank meta. They're banning tanks. No tanks to Urgot or Sion.
Nice. They
want to first pick some damage, so hopefully that means we're going to get a really fast, fun top side of the map, and I imagine some farming in the bottom side. Final ban from KT here. See where their eyes are set right now. There's not going to be a Lucian ban, but they will actually just ban away Lucian to close out the first round. Gango in the lineup means that Draven is always a possibility. Favorite son of the LCK, Gorilla, was alongside a Draven last night. I would love to see KT lock in Rakan Draven first round and just get this draft going at fast pace.
The Gallios seemed pretty obvious when it was the only big high-tier tank that was left available for the mid lane most of the time, although we have seen it already in the top lane and the support role here in LCK 2019, so could be flexed. And the Akali coming in. What will be the second pick for KT?
Give me that Rakan, come on. We want to see it here in the first round. That's what I'm looking for from KT Rolster. Very common first round of Tom Kench or Rakan in this spot. We'll see what KT decide. They're taking a long time. And actually, they won't go for a first round support after all. They're going to take away the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao and Camille, Xin Zhao and Galio's kind of become the new Camille Galio, because Camille is not being preferred in the jungle right now. So Xayah Rakan will be sacrificed to Damwon Gaming at the cost of ripping away the Xin Zhao.
Definitely a curious one there. They will be able to pick up that Tom Kent if they do want to deal with all that engage and pick that Damwon already has, but might have a bit of a switch up here right last second.
This is what you want to see. Remember, nameplate's on. That's Snowflower. You don't want to see him on Tom Kent's duty. Yeah. This guy is all about engage. He will be sticking with that role. Do Damwon Gaming ban away Draven? Because we don't have many Draven players in Korea. And just like Hansama is a Korea Draven player, with Gango solo queue, you can see it so clearly there that he is most played champion in the Season 9 patch is Draven. We'll see, they have a lot of hard CC, but Camille will be banned away by KT. They don't want to allow a second round Camille for Canyon.
Better to just take that all the way, and there it is. Draven seems like no surprise after we've been talking about it for a long time. It's just one of those targeted bans that is somewhat rare, I would say, but in this case, you absolutely have to do it.
Bit of a party pooper, but probably the right choice in that case. We'll see if you just default to something like the Varus if you want lane power. Victor is what some people would go here, just to wave clear in the lane. We saw some good news for Ghost in a similar matchup, so different ways you can go, and Canyon gonna eat another ban here. So despite saying that he's gonna teach that young ruffian a thing or two, he has taken Xin Zhao and banned away other strong early game junglers. So a lot of pressure being piled onto Canyon here. We'll see if it will pay off at all. KT Rolster have a solo laner to pick up, and also their marksman. Also a Victor could be considered. Victor left open. Will we see a bot lane carry, or will we see an AD carry from KT Rolster?
What's it going to be? They're hovering the Kalista, and there it is. Not with Thresh this time with Leona. But we saw it used to great effect by Ghost earlier on in this week. So nice stuff here already.
Melee supports have always been in a love affair with the Kalista, because you get a free gap close and you get reliability on your engage. But we're turning out the lights. We got that first Nocturne so far of LCK Spring 2019 to try to target specifically the Kalista and stop her hopping mad. We knew Damwon would go for a carry top. That's how they love to play. This case could be a blind pick. It can't lose to Akali. You don't want that to happen. Early laning phase, very good for the Jace, but Akali over time can get some options here. So whether it's Akali mid or Akali top, hunting the Jace in the mid game could be good news for KT.
Good to see the follow-up into the Galio with that Lissandra. Looks like KT thinking about it here. Seems pretty likely. If you're new to, Damwon, you're not sure about them, always a very exciting team to watch. I mean, you could just look at the draft. Yeah, they have the tank Galio in the mid lane, but everything else in their comp just says, we're going to go balls to the wall, we're going to go in there, we're going to get aggro, and we're going to make plays happen. So I personally really like their play style, and once again, they draft a comp that plays around that style, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the table for Game 1.
Not too much kite here, Valdez. We're all going in on the KT and Damwon side. Yes, Jace could be EQing from range, but if I know Noguri, he's going to be joining in when the hero's entrance and the paranoia are put out there. Laning-wise, I like what Damwon has here in terms of power. I think Jace has a pretty free lane against Akali early. Galio Lissandra's a bit of a wash in the mid lane, and Zyra Khan is more reliable than the Calista Leona, but you get the right Leona Zenith Blade, you set the tone of the lane early with a no flash for Khan, and things can come good for KT. Damwon Gaming are full of mechanical talent. These guys are perennial top 15 players in every role of challenger. KT Rolster can't afford to be blown away by the young rookies.
That they cannot. Here is Damwon's lineup. As we mentioned, the Nocturne Galio returns. Noguri back onto a carry in the top side. Nuclear and Hoyt on something very just stable in the bot lane, which you always like to see for the, I suppose, weaker side of your lineup. And here on the side of KT, yes, that is Kingen in the top side. You're not seeing things incorrectly. Smeb taking a seat after his Rumble game up against Hama Life, and Kingen, very high up on the ladder, is going to get a shot at Akali versus Jace. So some fun compositions here. Should have a lot of aggro. Let's see how it goes into game number 1.
Guys are wondering here, right? It's obviously making a big effort to delay these spawns just so we can line them up with the chance. Really cool little technical thing there, but sadly, the technical things get less cool as we have a pause to open up game number 1.
A groan from the crowd to accompany it as well.
Hey, the LEC kind of ate our lunch last night because they had a pretty epic 2-hour podcast.
Already
going
calling
on there.
them out, Papa?
They were calling it podcast, so I think they were calling us out. Shox herself called us out directly.
Yeah.
And said something about the LCK struggling. Well, you're right, but also, shut up. We're going to be coming back up. We're feeling good about where we're at, but maybe not who the nameplates will be. How many players who attended Worlds 2018 will represent Korea at Worlds 2019? If I was a betting man, I would say a handful, maybe less.
Would have to agree. It feels like the winds of change are here to stay, at least in the first week of LCK. Looks like it's a BDD issue. Not sure what his issue seems to be so far, but okay.
Seems like it's a bit of PC connectivity issues, so again, LEC did it better. They had the long pause yesterday, is what I'm going to say now. Sounds like famous last words, but I believe in Korean excellence when it comes to getting this LoL Park underway.
Yeah, so far, we've been very fast about fixing things. We haven't had any long podcasts just yet, Papa.
You say that with a smile, but I'm sure some people are wondering why their podcasts have been getting shorter this week. Maybe their commutes haven't had the dulcet tones and words about samgyeopsal and Korean barbecue and all sorts of other fun stuff. The fun stuff's coming, guys. It's a long 90 best-of-3 year we've got going on here. BDD getting some assistance from the crowd, and we go to the coaching staff from KT Rolster, looking over their notes, wanting to see some action on the Rift.
Waiting with arms folded. I liked how the ref, he was scrolling and then he nodded as if he found something. He's like, okay, here's the issue. Makes me feel confident. We'll get underway soon enough. Seems like a very competent ref. You kind of tell.
And the Damwon fans, they were there with the crowd cheer, so no worries on that one. And they're now here with the fan signs.
Yeah, it says Noguri there with the raccoon face and tail.
That is just a pretty direct translation, right? When it comes to Noguri's name?
Yes, it means raccoon in Korean.
Who's that, Valdez?
That is Draven.
Sadly, he's been banned. You should bring 2 versions, one with the picture and one with a line through it when it comes to Draven. We don't have many Dravens here. That's why I really enjoyed. I watched the VOD this morning. Gorilla's a good friend, so I wanted to watch him playing his first LEC game. It was so fun seeing Gorilla with Draven that wasn't the Praven. Because the Praven was, of course, always a sight, but not necessarily a sight you wanted to focus on. Now with an aggressive AD carry, it's 4 years of thinking about Prey and Gorilla as a unit. It was so interesting to see how does someone who you pigeonhole, because they were kind of self-pigeonholed with their situation, develop and fluster. And it's only a single game, but some nice engages there. And now we're seeing right here, BDD, his mouse is moving with a lot of freedom. He goes off the pad quite a lot. That's an advanced technique, dark magic, I think.
Notice it's also wireless. No wire on that mouse, so...
Whoa!
That's risky. If you guys are wondering, you know, about MS issues and stuff like that, can you use a wireless mouse? Well, one of the best mid laners in the entire world uses a wireless mouse, so...
That's scary.
You could definitely consider it.
I'm uncomfortable thinking about it. Because I'm just thinking of the what if, right? Like, there's some crazy, like, interaction or some lag somehow.
Disconnects or something.
Exactly. Like, I'm not calling out any mouse companies. I'm just saying the what if is there. Like, why add that variable? Valdez, I'm uncomfortable. Please hold me. I need you.
I don't like the. I don't like the wireless either, but you know, to each his own. BDD is pretty good.
Okay,
so I think you'll be okay.
I'm trying to compose myself. Okay. We got Kalista here, so I can be happy about that. I like that he oscillates from Draven to Kalista. I'm appreciative of that. We're being a hipster with our AD carry choices.
Canyon is hacking and knows the bush. That score is in. Hits him with the Q.
So a great Kalista game yesterday from, I believe it was Ghost, if I'm not misremembering. And I'm a big fan of Kalista coming back into the meta. Kalista metas, not as big a fan of that, but the sometimes Kalista is something I can definitely get behind. Xayah Rakan, not the easiest thing for Kalista to deal with. Rakan has so much instant engage, and especially at level 6, you just press the ult when you go in for the grand entrance, and there is no sidestepping on that particular one. Showmaker and BDD walk up. We're focused on top side, where King, with his Kill Bill skin, is going to have to deal with a whole lot of pain. It starts now.
It's something you never want to start off in. Already a hard lane, but then you get chunked down at level 1. It's the worst thing in the world, especially against a Jace. So, see if he can come back from that. Notice he has fleet footwork, guys, up on the top side. You can see the rune there for King In. A lot of players playing around recently with Akali runes and fleet footwork, much like in the way of Kassadin. Just allows you to have that extra sustain, the extra speed. That's always good on Akali as well.
Some very interesting choices. So let's keep talking about Kingen, because he's gone fleet footwork top. It's the first time we've seen that. You mentioned already the merits of it. In mid lane, I really like it because the burst of movement speed actually, you know, you can cover some real distance. In top lane, it feels more just for the sustain. He's actually gone flash with the fleet footwork, so there's a lot of mobility. Remember, teleporting Knight is the current Akali top lane meta just because she's already so damn fast. Then you throw in fleet footwork, and now you throw in the flash. Yes, you're more escapable. Maybe you need it because it's Jace. So speaking of Jace, this is hopefully a visual bug.
That is a visual bug.
Okay.
Now he's coming in. This is for real. Score on the gank with the red buff. Trying to get that Hail of Blades proc. There's the knock-up. Forces that flash out of Nuguri really early on in this game. And
how could I analyze that? It's so funny.
You knew it was coming, Papa.
I know.
Somehow.
The moment that the Jace was like, this is fine. There's someone in my lane. Guys, we have a bit of a visual bug situation here. It happens mostly with Sion, Sejuani. Those are the two big offenders. That's a new one.
The Rift Herald as well likes to go ice skating. Very slippery on the Rift now, as it is winter.
This is Korea exclusive, by the way.
He's coming back. Oh, never mind.
Didn't see any of this in the LEC, so maybe we need to call over and work out what special drinks they're taking over there to stop this from happening. Nuguri himself doesn't know what he escaped. We only know the true terror of what happened at that gank, and we'll continue to push up. He did have to trade his flash, and that's a huge benefit there. Skull would obviously love the kill, but he does his laner a big service by getting him a flash advantage, and what we already outlined is a tough lane for Akali.
Yeah, and it was interesting the way it worked out, too, because Canyon started at his blue and then went to the Scuttle Crab, but he sees the Xin Zhao and has to back off, so they have the information that, in fact, Xin Zhao is top, but still, Nuguri wanting to put on that pressure, didn't want to play passively, especially early on. puts himself in a position for Xin Zhao to get that gank early on, even though he was spotted early.
And he is in a pretty crummy situation because Noguri says, I just want to dunk on Akali with a Nocturne jungle, right? And that's already going to be showing the downfall of the lack of pressure the Nocturne can provide late. Now, is it worth it for this comp to be pulled off? I say yes, because it's the perfect conduit for the hero's entrance as the game goes on. But in the early game, you're kind of set up to be the foreman. This is very much the infantry at the front that you all know is probably going to be the first to go down. You're not going to be the officer at the back who feels pretty good about telling his wife he'll seal them tomorrow. Because of this, you need to take acceptable risks. In this case, pushing up and losing his flash, Noguri sees as acceptable. Even an early death, if it allows Nocturne to otherwise min-max farm, it's always pretty hard to judge. You kind of have to be hindsight when you have Jace top in a counter matchup and a Nocturne jungle farming with you.
It's a nice ward by Kingen, by the way, in the top brush. Was able to spot Canyon trying to come on in for a follow-up gank. Canyon's route was very peculiar, very interesting, I would say. You know, starting top side blue, going all the way down to the red, taking the scuttle, and then going all the way back up to the top lane to go for a gank just to be spotted.
We don't have any extra information on why Kingen and Gango are preferred. Gango did play last time out. Zenith did play last time out, I should say. So I guess just giving some experience to Gango. And Gango Snowflower, based on just the little we knew about both AD carries, was expected to be the starting duo on the side of KT before we saw any data points. Played a couple of games in Kesper Cup, didn't really learn too much about them. Meanwhile, Kingen just seems to be, well, the Rumble wasn't too inspiring. You're so high in solo rank, and you've been around the pro scene for about a year now. I believe it's the third split that Kingen has been on the roster. Definitely a young talent, and can't fault KT very early in the season, giving him a trial.
Okay, TP coming in really early from the Lissandra. No knockup comes in. They're going for the dive. First blood to BDD as he ults him down. Snowflower gonna flash away to safety,
dead.
but score. Oh boy, at least he gets executed. Okay, that's not so terrible, but they were reaching for that second kill. Not quite able to get it, but first blood does go to BDD.
Turret dives in the early game, Valdez. Remember, turret damage is higher than ever before, so those turret dives are always going to be less reliable. The TP, remember, cannot be canceled. We are in the 2019 meta. Mistake from Hoyt, another of these high-ranked players, doesn't count the seconds correctly. If he gets the interruption there, BDD at best has to flash to get that kill. At worst, doesn't get the kill. Score. Hoyt doesn't get an auto in, so just goes down to the turret. Still 1-0 in kill score, but we do have a death on either side.
And part of the reason they were able to do that is because Canyon was spotted up in the top side on a ward, so they called for that early. BDD able to hit 6 relatively early, probably pushing in the Galio, especially because Galio, before Protobelt, doesn't have that pushing power.
And Noguri is Nocturne, and we should actually dive deep on that. If you remember how Damwon were driving against Gen G, he was playing champions with a skirmish advantage. Going for Camille, he was trying to counterpick the enemy jungler. Instead here, as we mentioned, he's being a bit of a role player, saying, give me till 6. He's saying, there's good news coming later. So that's already a notable thing, because we haven't seen Damwon win when Canyon didn't have a pretty significant jungling advantage over his enemy, largely in terms of pick, but also in terms of style. We know Canyon to be relentlessly aggressive. His Camille versus Peanuts was night and day. So because of that, let's watch on and really track on to understand how Damwon can put this together. Because just like we always say with these globals, it's about the use of the first global. They get to the first global with just a single death and the flash topside, meaning that the CS is actually more competitive than expected between Akali and Jace. Was it worth it? Moves like this from Showmaker will be able to judge.
I mean, they spot him on a ward here. They should know 100% this is coming. Here we go, the dive all the way into the back line. Will the Callista go down? Yes, he will. And now it's only Snowflower underneath the turret. 4v1, there's the flash. And Galio, he's tanky enough. That's going to be 2 kills to the side of Damwon.
And because they knew it and didn't back off, question marks for the duo lane there of KT Roll, so they accept their fate. Trades in top side, still not going to be won by Kingen. It's too early for the Akali to have enough damage for that. We asked for them to use their ults, and guess what? S+ on that one. Yeah. Excellent use by Damwon, and some question marks for KT's duo lane not backing off earlier.
Yeah, I mean, the Galio is standing right next to a red ward, and they see him down, edging towards the bottom side. You got to know this is coming.
They know it now. They know it now, and they know it for about 3 seconds. surprise, Nocturne comes in, Galio joins. Showmaker decides they definitely want to kill Snowflower early and not allow anyone to come. On the minimap, we know no one was coming, but can't argue with just ramming in there, getting the 2 kills, and that means that KT's duo lane, as someone who's still down, we should mention in that previous play, now have to once again be respectful, and Zara Khan, every time that quickness is up, can try to make it happen again.
Yeah. Small little thing before we had all that action was our observer being a baller, spotting the futures market actually on the Nocturne. You'll notice he has a stopwatch, so he has gone for Inspiration second, but also took the futures market as the second rune for that secondary page. So kind of interesting. Was able to get the Caulfield's Warhammer with that extra gold for just that extra boost right when he went for the level 6 gank.
And I really do love that you call that out, Valdez, and that our observer was able to track it. We don't have secondary trees up, but let's hold that point, because right now, it's time for a party. Who's invited?
It's all about the bot lane tonight. We're just going deep, but look at the Saya damage going back onto Gango, and it looks like Canyon is going to go down in the gank. Here's King, and they take out Hoyt as well. And Noguri not tanky enough. He's going to go down, make that 4 kills as KT's dive is going to be successful. They take out everybody except Showmaker.
And this time they bring multiple champions with the ability to dodge turret shots. Consider that Akali, Lissandra, and Kallista's ultimate will all dodge turret shots in different ways depending on who is tanking. Gango goes down because he ends up tanking at the wrong moment, but otherwise, nice execution by KT. So again, remember, Lissandra can self-ult, Kallista can use the Fate's Core on the Leona to stop them tanking the turret, so they have those multiple mechanics, and they also have the Shroud. Because of that, they dive in, and they have another reason to go, Valdez. Damwon are trying to defend as kind of a defensive murder ball, kind of trying to kite back together. That means that Lissandra passive is stacking up again and again for future burst after the first kills. So while turret diving in this meta is tricky, if you got a team comp to try to do it, KT's definitely one of those.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best right after the draft. Both these teams are going to be going super aggro and going for dives, and we've already seen it. You'll notice that Showmaker has Hero's Entrance available. He didn't have that cooldown available because they had just dived before previously on the side of KT, so it would have been nice to have that defensively, but not quite available. Also like to call out King and really clean Akali play underneath the turret. To be fair, they were all lining up for him, but really making that Akali look strong even before the Hextech Gunblade.
And that's the good thing about KT. That's definitely the likes of Score and BDD, these more veteran heads in the roster, because that is not, okay, crap, we shouldn't have gotten double killed under the turret there. That's our mistake. Now we're going to play with our tails between our legs and be defensive. That's what do we have? We have enemy globals on cooldown. Let's try something during that cooldown. So the information flow there is good. We can praise that from KT. And after some of their mistakes and the fact that they come in with no match win against Hanwha Life, as I see you visually tilted by Noguri missing that canyon.
Why?
It's an alpha move, Valdez. Don't you understand? You walk up to the lane and you say, I don't even need this cannon. I got this anyway.
Just trying to prove a point to King, saying I can miss the cannon and still win the lane.
That's
Jace
pretty alpha,
Akali.
isn't it?
Uh-huh. Sure.
I'm just saying. I told you about League of Legends hard mode when I would play normal games and flash before the laning phase just to prove a point.
Uh-huh.
Who needs a flash, you know?
Not Papa Smithy. Nuggery doesn't need a cannon, apparently. We were talking about trading the ultimates and cooldowns and trying to go for dives and stuff. Well, it was Showmaker and Canyon's turn. They didn't go for anything else in the bottom lane, and in fact, KT's now the one edging down towards for bot again.
KT are always going to be posturing, but Damwon's long-range ults also mean that deep vision is needed to spot them, and right now KT's vision is pretty shallow. So they say, all right, we'll bring the globals to us. We'll just start up an objective. Mountain Drake is going down. Are Damwon going to give more than a half-hearted defense? The answer seems to be no.
Canyon is coming in.
All right.
And well, okay, we're going for that Callista. Can they burst her down? She's surprisingly tanky. Eventually does get taken out there. Taunt on the Score, and Showmaker trying to take him out, but he's still alive on the backside. The Dragon lives with 20 health for so long. Snowflower here is going to get that stopwatch and survive, and the rest of KT, they're just cleaning up. Damwon way too aggressive there. Kingen gets in first, Nuggery nowhere to be found, and KT win the fight.
And this is where the wily veterans are able to hold down the inspired rookies. noticed that Akali was there and Jace was not. No teleports available for the top laners. Akali had already started moving. So yes, a wombo combo comes in and it's a crap fest around the Drake. It actually is at 40 health and randomly is taken by Lissandra at the end. But because of the extra number, Kingen shows up with no cooldowns up and only the ability to carry. There's no way the Akali doesn't get kills on the back end here, and that's because Kingen started the rotation early. It's not Smeb, but it's a smart call, and that's why BDD's feeling pretty good, because KT engineer another time where they trade up.
You gotta wonder, where did the call come from? Maybe KT knew that there would be a contest at the Dragon, and you know, it works out. They get their Akali on point, and he's there.
And you know what else works out? They have 100% kill participation, 5-kill Lissandra. Lissandra from ahead, in a game like this where everyone's clumping in and diving in, the passive, if we could just isolate passive damage, those frozen thralls are going to be popping for 400 magic damage pretty damn early, and there could be 5 of them slow, 4 of them slowly walking towards the last alive member of Damwon. Not the person you want fed on the side of KT Rolster, and suddenly, better get those globals on point next time, otherwise maybe KT have done enough to see out game 1.
Lissandra really a terror as she gets fed, as you mentioned. You get to that 2 items, which are really core on the Lissandra. The 2 actives there, the Protobelt and the Zhonya's. Here comes Kingen. He goes and makes the play at Dragon. He's looking for a solo kill. Noguri just barely able to flash out of the last Q, but damn, that was close.
And because of things like the couple of kills and all the assists picked up by Kingen on his roams, the timer on Akali saying thank you very much, fresh meat to the Jace, got pretty early. It's 15 minutes apparently. And the timer for a bot lane gank, it's right now.
Doesn't seem like this train ever stops rolling. This time around, Galio Nocturne is nearby. They're trying to go onto the Leona. Very curious choice here, but now Score is just going to get blown up. And this time, Noguri makes it first to the fight with this TP. They're only able to take out 2. Nice snipe there on the backside by Noguri. So a couple of kills, and it actually goes Damwon's way.
Man, it's so close. Each one of these fights, you have to wait to see where the advantage is. Canyon ult super early, and Valdez will hold the point for now. The question is, why does he ult so early when the enemy isn't in turret range? It's to control the vision. It's to allow the first TP to come in from Noguri rather than the Akali, who had to wait an age to actually join the fight. So while at the first I was like, I don't know about this. They're not even taking turret aggro. The Nocturne ult is used for the TP advantage. But is it enough? Do they gain enough? Because it's not like those KT dives. It's just 2 kills and maybe just a preferable back timing for the AD carry.
Nice amount of gold and priority on the map as Canyon goes for it. This is the ult you were talking about.
Paranoia is down. Jace comes in, and Akali mid-recall can't TP yet. Frustratingly, has to go back, and Kingen actually ends up taking the maximum amount of time. There's an argument to just not joining in this case, but I guess he can't judge that Damwon aren't going to go further. I would say wasted teleport at the end, given all of the variables. Canyon, with his gold, has gone for this build we see pretty often on the Nocturne. Very early Guardian Angel, and how about a freebie Rift Herald on the top side?
It's insane the value you can get from that stopwatch. Definitely part of the reason why you can get this Guardian Angel so quickly. I mean, we're only 17 minutes into the game. Of course, there has been a lot of action. He does have 3 kills and 4 assists. Not every game is going to be like that, but makes him actually a threat as the game goes along. You were looking at BDD 504, Lissandra, you know, how could he lose? But there's definitely an argument here for Damwon to make their way back into this game.
Such an entertaining game here in game number 1, and very different game some of the other thinkers we've had, because this game is the ultimate. We've got lots of engage, we have lots of globals, push and roam. And again, speaking to some players before the season started, they talked about the minion changes, and there's a lot of different opinions on minion changes. We've heard them discussed by many people. There's been big claims about how minions freeze and counterpoints, so there's a lot of information and misinformation out there, and we kind of need to see more professional games to fully unpack it. The one common thing I heard from Korean pros was, because the minions are faster, push one wave, then roam. Push one wave, then do things. Don't take your time. You don't stack the minion wave as slowly or as methodically as before. This has been the ultimate push one wave and get the hell out of there. Maybe I can gank bot lane game. And that means that when we watch it, we're seeing just how proactive some of the best in the world can be.
Take a look right now at the situation. Notice Kingen is here again. Noguri no teleport. And this is the second Mountain Drake that they could potentially give over to KT if Noguri doesn't make his way down here right now. And double Mountain against Kalista and a pretty nice Dragon team means, you know, potential danger for the future. Looks like they're just going to give it up, though, as Jace is in the top side, going to be taking out that turret.
Yeah, 700 pings onto the turret from Noguri saying, you look, I could come, but it's not going to do much, and I think that's the right read. If you don't know exactly where Lissandra is when she has 100% kill participation, you don't take any risks. She scales better with AP than before, but in a very different way. I fed Lissandra before, killed one person harder. That's really what she did, because a lot of her kit was really just about single target burst. Because of the frozen thralls, you get more value. As in mid lane, we're seeing a turret dive attempt, and Rakan.
Here we go. Gonna get that Kalista out of the fight right away and make that 2 as Damwon once again open this game wide open. They get 2 kills, and here comes Shelly.
Gango's getting some sort of introduction to LoL Park. Everywhere he goes, he just dissipates in an instant. Shelly dives in, but takes no health. It wasn't required on that dive. We'll get the dive onto the inner turret here, but Gango does down for either the 5th or the 4th time this game.
It's a hard life for the Kalista. We saw it do pretty well against the Camille, but the Nocturne a lot easier. You know, you just press one button, you use your R straight onto the Kalista. It's really hard to get away from that. You have to wait until he hops onto you, and then you can't really hop away because he does have that fear tethering and he is so fast. So it's a really rough spot here, and I'm really liking this Nocturne pick into the Kalista.
The element of surprise is the reason these plays are working. Let's watch this replay. The Rakan here is the god tier play. Goes in on Nocturne, does a lot of damage. We notice that pop, but Rakan over the wall is just ecstasy coming through from Hoyt. Beautiful stuff there. Again, the Nocturne, like we outlined in Pick Ban, is picked to just ult the Kalista every time, and Kalista can't hop away from Nocturne. It's just not how it works. Issue I see going forward is when it's not the element of surprise, when it's an ARAM fest, let's say, you go in on Kalista and she's like, crap, you know, I might die here, I'll stopwatch. Consider the enemy backline threat is a super fed Akali and Lissandra, so this game, it feels like the burst in the backline is actually better against the Galio Nocturne dive rather than with the Galio Nocturne dive, and more meaningful because you can also jump on to, say, Noguri after you kill Nuclear. So because of that, Damwon need to choose their times. Yes, you can use your globals for very reliable picks, but I think overall, if you choose the wrong time, KT will punish.
But so far in the last 5 or so minutes, it's all been Damwon just getting those dives off, getting the kills and the objectives in this game. They've caught up in the gold now. It's actually a very close game here at about 21 and a half minutes. KT leading by about 800 gold in the end of it all. And you have to also ask questions about Gango, who did not have his flash available at that moment, and they didn't have vision. It was really nice pathing by Hoyt to get in position for that play. But you got to be extra careful when you're going up against a comp like this, especially if you don't have your flash.
Story of Gango is so interesting. Again, people saying who are Kingen, who are Gango joining in late, and I understand that. Already talked about Kingen as this like youth prodigy that's been on the lineup. That's not Gango. He's not a new player. He was on the Samsung White roster in 2014. He played in Masters. Most of our fans won't even know what Masters is, understandably. But it was a 2014 tournament where sister teams, for example, SK Telecom T1, K and S, would come together and play with mixed rosters. So he actually played a couple of games there. So in Champions implications, in Worlds implications, he has never played at the pro level in Korea. Comes back, and that's 5 years ago now. 5 years later, having played in the LJL and having a really good split over there, that is a different level of competition coming to Korea. Gets to play in front of a home crowd for the first time. And now you can understand his struggle, going down 4 times already. Despite not being a 17-year-old, plenty of reason for nerves for Gango.
Still trying to make it work, especially here for KT, where he's essentially the starter. Let's see, I believe it's Zenith. Yeah, the
It's confusing because his challenger's name was Zenith, which is obviously pretty close in your mind to Zenith. Didn't really have too much to say good or bad about Zenith at the end of the day.
Thought he was pretty good.
I think in general, like, he just didn't overperform or underperform. He seemed like a standard AD carry.
His mechanics were good, but his decision-making was questionable sometimes.
Gango in the LJL was able to shoulder huge DPMs, 40% DPM, kind of like Deft in his prime years ago. He played the awesome dudes well. He could play the mages in the bot side. And again, now we know about the Draven and the Kalista, which are a couple of pocket picks for him. So won't entirely judge someone on their first game, and this game is still so even. Height misses.
Okay, but it's both teams just running their face into the wall against each other as Leona goes forward, as Rakan does. The two supports trying to get that engage, but Paranoia comes off, but no engage comes through. No commitment from Damwon, and nobody really gets hurt.
But if you look at the buttons pressed, you do feel like the backline threat is now gone from Damwon's side, yet Lissandra still has ult. That's the unique variable here, and also Snowflower's cooldown is supremely short. So remembering that, that's something to talk about. Summoners-wise, you pointed out, Valdez, Flash on Nuclear is something nice to get as well. So Damwon need to be careful here without Paranoia ripping through one person and KT making some mistakes on the dive. Does feel like KT in a 50-50 can get a lead, so why not play where you have a vision advantage? For now, it's the completely dark side of the map. Bot side and a freebie Ocean Drake for Damwon.
Damwon gonna really feel hard done by this Ocean. I mean, it's KT in control in the early game. They get double Mountain Drake with Kalista, and then you take control of the mid game, and League of Legends gives you an Ocean Drake. So kind of unfortunate for them. Next one's gonna be Cloud as well, which isn't super fantastic in the situation.
Bit of a their Yasuo and my Yasuo situation going on this particular game. Damwon Gaming, they clear out some vision. I'd probably take the outer top lane turret because of the Baron game that's happening at 25 minutes over an Ocean Drake, and even the souped up Ocean Drake doesn't match the map control that top lane outer turret being down helps to provide the side of KT. Damwon themselves will come and start wrestling vision here. Blue side teams always find it easy to put wards on the river, and KT, just because of terrain, can slip wards onto the Baron, stop that being taken down easily, so can be very defensive top side. Gango himself finally has his core. He's been desperate for these two items for a while. No sign of a Rage Blade yet, and maybe the sort of game where Rage Blade isn't necessary, A, because it might be late, and B, because you're being exploded so fast that a Bloodthirster shield will go a long way.
Both AD carries going for one defensive item each. Stopwatch here on Gango and QSS built now on Nuclear. They understand the amount of threats in the game so far, and they're not going to take them very lightly. So nice little decisions there, I'd say, by both of the AD carries.
This is an issue. We already outlined that difficult to have that lane assignment of Jace pushing against Akali when they're actually in lane at the same time. Jace himself recalling, probably going to tend towards mid lane and ideally walk over to Baron if Damwon can find a pick or something like that. Very much going to be Jace finding skillful ways to kill minions and leave. That's how you approach this lane, Hex Drinker or no. Elder Dragon starts to warp this game, but this is the time we might stall because no one is feeling confident to press their buttons. Laning phase is over, deaths might lead to Baron. The Drakes are spawning in 3 minutes and are pretty low quality. Everyone's waiting for the legitimate thing. People are seeing these off-brand objectives, but they're only looking for main brand. Nike only for Damwon and KT in this game.
So wolves don't count?
No. Oh. No. No contesting
Poor
wolves.
wolf.
I love how you can use the W to check the Baron on Xin Zhao. It turns out even Xin Zhao can do some Gragas bowling. By the way, guys, Gragas bowling is when AP Gragas jungle falls behind, and his only job is to check Baron.
Sad Gragas
The most
bowling.
depressing, no camps, just checking Baron. Turns out Xin Zhao can do it too. Who knew?
Yeah. Kind of a sad Akali there as Nogri gets the really nice engage follow-up. But
how long do you think Xin
slippery.
Zhao's spear is? Well, hold that point.
We can see. Here's the engage, though. He has a stopwatch, but he doesn't have anything else as he immediately gets blown up. Really unfortunate as now Gango dies for the 5th time in this game before 30 minutes.
This is the ultimate bad luck Gango game. This is some Charlie Brown stuff, as every time he's in vision gets ult and instant killed, and there's literally no counterplay. He is Kalista. He goes down there under the turret. Damwon just brute force through mid lane. They're taking bot lane as well. Now Kingen can't walk up as easily to the Jace. Gotta say, stopwatch is down. Guardian Angel is still a whiles away. Things coming together for the side of Damwon Gaming.
You mentioned how he does pick up the Kalista, and basically if he shows his face, then he dies, especially if their Akali is not in position. It just happens too fast, and it really is kind of unfortunate. You know, they had a lot of other picks available. Even Ezreal was available, but they skip over that.
Just so overextended under his inner turret.
I mean, overextended, right? It's like a couple of Teemos in front of the turret, but even that's overextended.
You can't even walk in front of your inner turret with your support.
I mean, you're going up against Rakan, Galio, Nocturne. You can't pick Kalista, essentially.
Well,
he's going to die more times before this game ends, guaranteed.
What's your number at? I'm at 8.
I'm thinking like 7. I feel like Damwon are just going to kill him twice and the game's going to be over.
Very possible, Valdez. Very, very possible. The timer starts reading 30. The death timers get longer. The Baron, it hasn't seen a speck of damage in a while, unless Score poked it from the back. Again, yes, you can see how long the spear is. I'm just saying in meters. Like, this is a big spear.
He's got a big one, that's for sure. Everybody can kind of see it.
He wields it pretty well, too.
Yes, that he does. We've all seen that in action as well.
An Old Man Score, 1, 3, and 5. The kills aren't there, but both junglers know they're going in and probably not getting out without a Guardian Angel being blown. KT actually control Baron for the first time in a while, but very difficult to bait the enemy to come and face check it.
Casterjun getting real excited, thinking maybe they're going to start the Baron.
No.
Don't think so. Hoyt here, going to take a bit of damage, but is totally fine. Ooh, we got gold difference today. We're slowly building up the Riot LCK 2019 broadcast.
High
and
res.
Some ooh-ahing from the crowd.
I'm loving it. I'm loving every extra bit. Now, KT turn on to Baron. Remember, Kalista Ren damage is not as bonkers as before, so there could be a crapshoot here. Here's the turn.
Oh, they get that engaged, though, onto Hoyt. He is going to go down. Will they have the follow-up here? The four-man cut! There it is! Showmaker makes the play, but Score and BDD are still alive, and they have those Zhonyas. What a close fight. King now in the back line, but he's super low. Flashes forward for the kill. Is going to slowly get burst down there by Nuguri, but the Frozen Thrall comes in, and now it's Showmaker up against 3. Snowflower going to flash away, and Score offering his big spear to try to help his teammate. Snowflower still on the run. Can he actually do it?
Puff. Are we going to blow him down? The house going down? No!
Oh, the dodge! The dodge! He survived!
Yeah! Snowflower with the outplay. Not the one we expected, but definitely the one we deserve. Damwon Gaming, we already talked about how hard 5v5s would be against the multiple threats on the side of KT. It required a 4-man taunt for this to even be even.
Look at BDD, just so confidently immediately flashes on the Rakan. He says, this is my moment. And then Showmaker trying to one-up him with the 4-man taunt.
And if Showmaker doesn't get this 4-man taunt, they straight up lose it in a wipe. And only because he gets the taunt is it even competitive. It's so hard to win an extended 5v5 like this. We outlined that earlier, the Frozen Thralls we alluded to are going to come down. Galio versus the world does not get any cleanup kills. More kills to KT, and look at this team fight damage. It was 5,500 from Galio just for it to be close.
I mean, when you taunt that many people and you're alive for the entire fight, that's what's going to happen. Kind of surprised that the Lissandra didn't do a bit more damage, especially with her new passive. But once again, KT looking down the throat of the Baron. They want it. Damwon this time are grouped as 5.
They can't really press R here. Damwon have no vision on anyone. They have a blue trinket to spot, and anyway, obviously we know it's very risky. Kali on the side going to be spotted. This is good for Damwon to start. Want to keep Akali away from the backline as soon as possible. We're watching the zoom out here thanks to the observers. A bit of pressure, but not too much onto the inhibitor turrets just yet. When is the first button pressed? I'm not talking about the Q from Galio. That button
Snowflower is visually bugged there. He's actually not coming out of the brush. Beginning to realize when that happens.
Whoa, that's some next level casting.
I know.
Right there.
Just trying to make it a little bit more difficult for us as we go. Just trying to challenge us a little bit.
When is good old Lissandra going to calm down? Void Staff, still 100% kill participation, 1,000 gold bounty.
Hasn't died.
On BDD. They don't know where he is. They aren't hit by a sweeper. Here's the big moment.
Paranoia comes in, but Canyon is going to get dived upon. He's going to get bopped down. He doesn't have his Guardian Angel. Do the multiple threats come in? BDD in stasis, can't do that damage. He's going to get burst down. 1,000 gold to Nuguri. Here's King in, trying to go 1v4. Takes out one. There's the knock-up miss on the grand entrance. And now he's just going to try to get away as the fight will go the way of Damwon after all that.
Damwon are able to win it because Akali is nowhere for the start of this fight. Paranoia put down, positioning at a premium. We'll roll the tape on a replay to fully understand why Akali took so long to get there. But with Akali not being a threat, actually everyone lined up for Galio and friends, and they did the work.
Thankfully, Gango didn't die in that fight. Only 6 deaths so far.
So the Baron is started. This is with Paranoia going. Notice Akali is hedging Galio in mid lane, and that's just a straight-up mistake because she has no ability to get in and interrupt this fight. So with the remaining members here, Galio joins first, Akali joins so late in the piece, and Lissandra, BDD had a lot of different options, made a pretty late call on when and how to commit, and that couldn't be allowed with how the fight turned out.
Yeah. The 5v4 comes in, and unfortunately a bit of a positioning mistake there, you can say, from King, and he's got to be there. You'll notice he uses the second half of his ultimate, or the first one rather, just to get closer to the fight, and then the second one to try to burst down to get the 1 kill. What if he was doing damage the whole time within a Shroud? That would have been a much different fight. So things are still on a knife's edge, though. Nobody has taken Baron. It's 35 minutes into the game. Doesn't even feel like that because there's so much action here, and both the teams are very equal in gold.
And if you saw KT versus Genji in the Kesper Cup, Kingen played a few games there, and we were struck by a couple of times where he was bird watching, where he was watching a fight on Aurelia top and not committing. And that actually was pretty consequential in some of the game losses. Remember, well, watch this point, though. Here we go.
Oh, there's the engage from the Rakan again. Hoyt's going to get low. BDD, though, able to ult himself. In comes Score, trying to do the damage, but immediately goes down to Nuclear. Big knock up there by Snowflower, but no real follow-up in the damage. It's only Gango. He's trying to hop, skip, and jump his way to the kill. Look at all the super low members on the side of Damwon, but unfortunately, Gango alone could not take them out.
Damwon just out-teaming fighting them purely from mobility because Lissandra and Akali have not been backline threats. Nuclear has been under almost no threats. Some execution errors mean the Damwon pushes up. The death timers are pretty damn long. How much of the base can Damwon take?
You got 20 seconds on Score and Snowflower, about 25 on Gango. This could be easy. Canyon a little bit low, trying to just stop it in the Shroud, but They see him the whole way, knocked up and taunted and dead. And BDD now all alone in the back of the fountain. They're not going to overstay, though. They don't want to throw this into the Baron. Damwon very smart, I'd say, take 1 turret and leave.
So much inbuilt synergy from Damwon sticking together after winning in summer seems to be beating out against KT. KT are hesitating or being over-aggressive in single-member choices, and that's shutting them down. And meanwhile, Hoyt says, it's my time to shine, and it's very hard to argue. Goes straight in, has the quickness running to get the charm before the grand entrance, and the hero's entrance do the worst. The double entrance works out here. The door is knocked down on KT Rolstern. Gango might be hopping mad, but we know he doesn't have the items to actually matter to get a rend set or anything like that. KT Rolstern trying for a Baron against the Globals, and the Globals are back up.
Okay, here we go again. This is going to be a big knock-up. 4 men get knocked up in the backside by Galio. Nice little amount of damage there from BDD, but he is going to get knocked out after that stasis. It's up to King in here once again. 1v3 trying to get in there. Snowflower is there too, but he just gets burst down. Flash over from Nuguri. He wants a kill, actually, but Snowflower, he has been the escape artist today.
Meanwhile,
it's not going to matter. The base is going to go down. That should be GG, guys.
Winions will end the game, and maybe a large gargoyle will get into the picture. KT's still on the same level as Damwon when it comes to his team fightings with pretty similar tools. Nuguri needs KDA, apparently.
Wait, don't kill the Nexus. Don't kill it. Wait, we got to kill Snowflower.
Will they get it first? We're going to find out.
He's like not even killing him. He's trying to kill him with the hammer.
He got it.
Gets the kill, and Damwon get the kill on the Nexus. Game 1 is going to Damwon, and what a game it was. So many kills, so much action, non-stop.